All right, everybody, you know what to do. Hit that like, hit that subscribe, turn those notifications on. We're talking Sixers starting now.
Oh, my God! I'm embarrassed! He's flying!
Welcome in. It's almost time.
All right, everybody, welcome in. I'm Rob. He's Brad. We are the Sports Hounds, exclusively on a2dradio.com. We're live on Facebook, YouTube, Twitter, Twitch, and Periscope. Miss anything here on A2D Radio, download us wherever you get your podcasts, Spreaker, Spotify, Google Play, iHeartRadio, iTunes, Takeover Talk, absolutely everywhere. We're talking Sixers. We're talking NCAA tournament. We'll talk NHL. We'll talk NFL. Top of the show, Sixers. They're in action against the Bulls right now. We'll discuss their long-term plans. First, let's tell you about our great sponsors. Brought to you by Gleason's Bar and Grill, located 6700 Mill Creek Avenue, Levittown, PA. Use promo code A2D for 10% off your dine-in, takeout, or online order. Also brought to you by Specialized Physical Therapy. He's our doc. Make him yours too. Two convenient locations. Burlington, Cherry Hill. He's our doc. Make him yours too. Like I said, we're talking Sixers. Sixers Talk tonight. Brought to you by Alan C. Travel, specialized in creating the vacation of your dreams at Disney, Universal, or wherever your heart calls you. Let their talented team of travel experts create a custom vacation package for you. We'll get to everybody's comments, but Brad, the Sixers are on absolute fire, Brad.
They are
on fire.
They are playing superbly right now.
They're at home tonight, one of their few home games still remaining. They're actually honoring the 1983 championship game. Championship team tonight. Moses, Dr. J.
Tony and Cheeks.
Tony Cheeks, really good team. They got Moses
remember
from
that
Houston,
team. That was Moses, unfortunately, is no longer with us, but he was a big part of that team.
Huge part of the team. Team. But, I mean, Brad, James Harden's playing the best basketball of his career. Joel Embiid continues to astonish everyone.
Right now, he's playing on a level that I don't think we've seen before. He actually has turned up his level a lot over the last month and a half. So I'm starting to believe that this team is a little different than in years past. You know, I just think that they've got that it factor this year, and I don't think anybody's going to be able to stop them. I really don't. I mean, I know that we've seen this before, but I think it's different this year. Yeah, I think it's different this year. I really
Why?
do.
Is Joe just that much better? So I should just believe that they're going to do it? Joe's that much better?
Yeah, and I think he's also playing a lot better defensively too. He's really gotten to the point now where his the lane is now his yard, and you're not allowed in his yard. It's like when he's there, there's a big no trespassing sign in the paint. You know, it's kind of almost gotten to that point, and the Sixers are rebounding a lot better now. You know, they're playing unbelievable basketball right now. And, you know, my team has been playing pretty darn good too, but you guys just look unbeatable at this point. Looks like to me, you know, they're peaking at the right time. They're playing out of this world basketball. Embiid is just completely dominant. And nobody's really going to stop him. And you know what? If he gets double or triple teamed, he'll throw it out there, and you got Harden and Maxey to knock down threes, and you know Harden can do it with the best of them. So I mean, this team's really going to be tough to beat now. They're playing on another level. I just think it's different, Rob. They're doing it on both ends of the floor, which, you know, it always used to be that they could score almost any time they wanted to, but they seem to they seem to at times, not show defensive intensity. But their defensive intensity lately, has led to, especially late in the third quarter and then in the fourth quarter. That's when they seem to turn up the defensive intensity, and nobody can score on them. I mean, they make it so difficult to score. It's you have to work for everything you get real hard, and it's not that easy against that team. That team is just a great team now. I mean, I don't know who's going to beat them. Nobody in the West is going to beat them. That's for damn sure.
No, the NBA champion is going to come out of the East, whether it's Milwaukee, Philadelphia, or Boston.
That's
because
correct.
you look at the West, you have the Nuggets who they finally won a game the other. They were on a tremendous losing streak.
Yeah, they just got their asses beat by the Knicks.
The Kings, the Kings are the 2 seed in the West. They're not going away, so they're good. But Memphis doesn't have Ja Morant yet. Phoenix doesn't have Kevin Durant.
Not good enough.
Dallas is banged up all the time. The Warriors haven't figured it out yet. They could click, though. I could see that. And the Lakers just can't seem to figure it out either. But you look at the 3 behemoths in the East: Milwaukee, Philadelphia, and Boston. Two of those 3 teams have already clinched a playoff spot. Celtics are in, the Sixers are in. Right? So the Sixers would have to be in then, right?
Well, the Sixers are the Sixers in second place yet?
Yes.
Okay, so they're in, and
the Sixers have to be. Yeah, Sixers are 9-1. They've won 8 in a row. They're 9-1 in their last 10. Point differential of 5. But they're up to that 2 seed. We talked about it a couple weeks ago. For them to be serious contenders in this East, they at least have to get Boston at the Wells Fargo Center for 4 out of 7. And I don't know if they have it in them. I don't know if they have it in them to beat Boston. They haven't done it yet.
Yeah, but Boston showed signs of. I mean, the Knicks seem to be able to have no problem beating Boston. I mean, if the Knicks can beat them, so can the Sixers. I mean, the Sixers are better than the Knicks.
Yeah, but I mean, are you picking the Knicks to beat the Boston Celtics of 4 out of 7 games in a playoff series?
No, but I think they'll tire them. I think they could tire them out. So it gets to a point where the Sixers I think the Knicks can definitely take 2 in a playoff series against the Celtics. They match up real well against them for whatever reason. They just do. Boston.
So you're gonna
Boston can't stop the Knicks guards. They can't stop who's ever playing the point, whether it's Brunson or Quickly. They can't stop those 2 guys. And it just seems like Randall plays super well against Boston, and for whatever reason, Boston doesn't seem to play well against the Knicks. I don't know what it is. Maybe if they played in the playoffs, the Celtics would rise to a new level. Maybe they would. I don't know. But based on what I've seen, Celtics don't want the Knicks. I don't think they want any part of the Knicks. I think they'd be just as happy. To play to stay in 3rd place and make sure that they play the 6th place team,
which would be Brooklyn instead of New York. Then you have the Knicks and the Cavs.
Whom, by the way, I
think
the Knicks can beat the Cavs.
That would be interesting for sure.
Then it would be because you know what, they didn't get what's his name over the summer. I can't remember his name now. Donovan Mitchell. They didn't get him. They let him go, and then they'd be playing against him in the playoffs. That would be pretty. Be a pretty nice side story. That's a storyline. Yeah,
the Sixers being the 2 seed would play one of these stinky East teams in the play-in tournament. The Heat, the Hawks,
right. The Sixers would go through. Sixers would go through them like a knife through butter.
They really got to they got a home and home with Chicago. So 2 of the next 3 games are against the Bulls, and the Bulls aren't very good, and they really need to hammer these 2 down and maintain that It's one. They're up 1 in the loss column on Boston, 2 games back in the loss column of Milwaukee. I understand the Sixers match up better against
well
Milwaukee than I'd much rather see that. I'd much rather see that series. I'd much rather see Game 7 of that series at the Wells Fargo Center because the Milwaukee is 29-7 at home. Sixers 26-10. Celtics are 26-9 at home. So home court advantage is going to matter a lot in the Celtics.
Oh yeah,
Celtics,
absolutely.
The triple threat match we're going to have in the East with Milwaukee, Philadelphia, and Boston. The home court's going to matter a lot. I don't think Cleveland or New York has enough to beat the Celtics.
I think
I want to just stone agree to this.
They wouldn't be able to play the Celtics unless the Celtics won the East, right? Because don't they play doesn't the number 1 seed play in the second round would play after the first round, if depending on who wins the series, if the Celtics won the division the regular season, they'd be playing or the Sixers, they'd be playing either Cleveland or the Knicks in the second round.
To the 1 seed.
Right. If they're the 1 seed. Otherwise, they're destined to meet as the 2 and 3 seed
in the semifinals, and then you're gonna have to sweat it out and hope that you can finally advance to an Eastern Conference Finals against a team that you just never beat, ever.
Well, maybe they can get them a little earlier.
I don't know. I can't agree to this poll. I can't sit here and think that something that they fall short of every year is just going to magically happen this year.
You know what convinced me?
I just can't do it.
When they clobbered Cleveland, when Cleveland was playing great, and when it was on a hot streak, and then the Sixers went to Cleveland and just beat their brains in. That to me was a sign like, they're back and they're going to be tough as ever. And Embiid is playing at a whole new level this year. I mean, he was already good, really good last year. It just seems like this year he's just doing stuff that he's going out of worldly this year. That's how good he is.
Well, he wants that MVP, and Jokic and the Nuggets have lost. I think they lost 4 straight, and they finally won a game last night. But he has been playing good, and Joe's now the favorite to win MVP, and I think that means a lot to him.
I think it should. I mean, listen, LeBron is not going to win it anymore. LeBron's done. He's not winning any more MVPs.
Right.
The MVP is now his to take. Jokic is not playing as well as he is, right? As well as he is. The Nuggets are not winning as many games as the Sixers, and the Sixers are playing a much more difficult division than he does.
It seems. I hope he gets MVP, regardless of how the playoffs go for this basketball team. He should be the MVP this year. He should have been the MVP last year, so he should have at least one at the end of this series. This series of games, he should absolutely be the MVP, like no doubt about it. But as far as the Sixers go in the NBA Finals, I can't agree to that poll. I can't do it. If someone in the comments or you want to sell me hard and convince me before the end of the show, I'm all for it because I want to agree. I have futures bets on it. I want them to win, and they need to validate this process because the Sixers what they did to the NBA and the city of Philadelphia, it was really embarrassing. It's really a skid mark on the franchise and the city and the association in general. I mean, for them to go out and lose all those games on purpose, Brad, it's just an absolute mockery because you see teams all the time that don't have to lose 60, 70 games in a season to get a good draft pick. They vault themselves into contention. Look at the Sacramento Kings. Look at the Oklahoma City Thunder in the West.
Yeah.
So
That's the whole point.
So I wanna be able to just let that go and kind of let bygones be bygones and give Joe his MVP and agree that the Sixers are going to go to the finals. But no, the fact of the matter is when the going gets tough in the playoffs, this team punks out. Harden punks out. Embiid punks out. Embiid gets hurt. Embiid is tired. Embiid is sick. I can't unsee all that. They're free to prove me wrong. And if someone in the chat wants to put the hard sell on that you think that this team's going to the finals and you give me legitimate basketball reasons as to why I'm wrong, I'm all for it. But all this team does in the clutch is punk out. And I'm not going to let them in close enough for them to hurt my feelings again. It's not going to happen. Let's get to some comments, shall we? Let's get to some comments here. Comments brought to you by Aria Public Adjusting. Don't fight your homeowner's insurance alone. Contact Aria Public Adjusting 813-564-3364. That's 564-3364. Periscope doesn't exist anymore. All right, sorry, doing the same read at the top of the show for 5 years, so it's tough to change.
Sorry, Ted.
Chrome's in the house. Yeah. Hey fellas, I cautiously agree with the poll. Can't ignore the success since December, but man, Milwaukee is tough, and if Boston regains their form, another tough matchup. I hope they win. The fans deserve it. The way the fans just flock to this team, defend this team, are just gung-ho positive with this team after they just embarrass themselves for year after year during the process. The fans deserve it. I think Joe deserves it. But can Doc get it done? Can this team get it done?
Well, can Joe stay healthy?
Haven't heard a good enough sales pitch yet.
Can Joe stay healthy?
First comment was Chrome. Cautiously agree. I mean, that's not a hard sell. Someone's got to hard sell me. Someone hard sell me on the Sixers tonight. Somebody hard sell me on the Sixers.
Besides
Make me believe.
Besides me, I can't make them believe.
You don't count. You're a Knicks fan. Sorry.
Okay. Well,
hate to play that card, but it's true.
True. It is.
You did a decent job. But if your whole thing is it's different because Joe is that much better, is he that much better than he was last year?
Yeah, I think he is. And you know what? He's not injured. He hasn't been injured this year.
You're probably right because he passes and blocks more shots this year.
Yeah, he's playing on another level, especially defensively. I mean, you could see it defensively. He's like the junkyard dog in the lane now. He really is. And when he gets the ball, he's going to score. If you let him go to the basket, he's going to score. I still think he may take too many threes, but he likes to do that. So I mean, I get it. But I just think that if he gets the ball in the lane, it's almost automatic. It's an almost automatic 2 points. The only guy I can remember the only center that I can remember who literally, it seems, scored every time they got the ball in the lane the way he does is Abdul-Jabbar. Abdul-Jabbar, even if there were 2 or 3 guys on him, he could do the hook shot and nobody could block it. I mean, even Shaq, Shaq could dunk the ball, but if there were guys in his way, he'd commit an offensive foul and run them over. This guy he finds a way to score almost every time. I mean, he can shoot. He's got moves, and he's strong as hell. He's a big bull underneath. So he's and I'll tell you what, he'd be good in any era.
And if the Sixers are going to go to the NBA Finals, Brad, when they play the Bucks or the Celtics or both, I mean, Joe's gonna have to be ripping off 40 a night.
And he's also going to have to intimidate Giannis, no question. And he's going to have to make sure that nobody on the Celtics is going to look up and think that they could just go down the lane and get easy layups with him standing there.
Yeah, but the Sixers' perimeter defense is still suspect.
Okay, but you know what? There is no perfect NBA team this year.
I get that, but
You know,
Tatum and Jaylen Brown are a tremendous duo, and the Sixers, Brad, they haven't beat the Celtics in years, I feel like.
Well, I think this is the year. You know, I mean,
Well, I
listen,
think you
used to say
can.
this. I used to say this about the Knicks and the Bulls, that this is the year the Knicks were going to beat the Bulls, and unfortunately, it just never happened. But I really do feel like I watched that team, and they look like they're playing on another level right now. I think they've actually, to me, have hit the highest level I've seen them hit in years. They're really good. They're like they were the year that they should have won against the Raptors.
Against Kawhi when he hit the shot. That's the
Right.
missing ring. That's the missing ring to the process. For sure.
Yeah, they
Totally
seem to
agree.
be playing. They, in my opinion, are playing at that level right now. And quite frankly, I don't see a team out there right now that could beat them.
Don 19. 3 teams can win a title in the East: Celtics, Sixers, Bucks. Teams in the West who can win a title: anybody. Yeah, I mean the West is way more wide open. I mean, we talked about it at the top. If Durant's healthy, the Suns should get there. But like LeBron could get healthy, and the Lakers could get there. Steph could catch fire, and they could get there. So we'll see. Is that a CJ Gardner Johnson jersey picture on Don 19's account? Brad, that pissed me off. I think that's a ginormous mistake letting him out of your building, CJ Gardner Johnson. Just a touch on NFL free agency.
I've been saying that they really couldn't afford to. I mean, everybody today on Facebook was like poo-pooing this. That, you know, they did big deal. We'll get another safety. Yeah, that guy had 8 interceptions. That's a lot of interceptions.
He led the league, and he's 25 years old. We talked about it for weeks after the Super Bowl about how this team needed to get younger, especially on defense. And all you did was get older. Now, Howie's built up a lot of slack from his past trouble, so like I can't get too mad about it. But I think this is a huge, big-time mistake by Howie Roseman letting C.J. Gardner-Johnson out of this building. A huge mistake. You're super thin at safety, and you have older corners.
I personally, I would have let Bradbury walk, and I would have signed CJ, and I would have went and taken a draft pick, and I would have just drafted a cornerback in the first round with the 10th pick. I mean,
you could tell. Now, I've been a big proponent of Fletcher Cox being in Philadelphia because I think him, Lane Johnson, Jason Kelsey, and Brandon Graham are essential to the locker room and the culture that they need to continue to try and build with these younger players they're going to be bringing in the draft. But I'd much rather give C.J. Gardner-Johnson 1 year, $10 million, than Fletcher Cox 1 year for $10 million.
I think they're holding on to too many. I think defensively they're holding on to too many players, and the problem that I have, Rob, is that next year, you know, you're gonna be paying Jalen Hurts $50 million. Okay, who's going to be able to play next year? This season, you're still going to be highly competitive, but the problem is the following season. What happens when you have to pay all that money for your quarterback? You know,
I don't like the explanation that was given by the team. They offered him early in free agency, and then he thought he could get more. Fine, go see if you can get more. And then the Eagles couldn't wait. They said the Eagles couldn't wait, which, okay, I get it, because if you wait on him and you lose all your guys that you would have signed instead of him and lose him, then you really look bad. So I guess I kind of get that. I don't know. You weren't boxed into doing anything with Slay.
I think they played too much hardball with him.
No, C guard not year. get one bit, and then he goes to the Lions, who are an up-and-coming team, and he's going to help them a lot. The Lions might be your main competition in the NFC next year.
I think they will be, actually. I mean, the Lions really needed help defensively.
And they got that Sutton guy from Pittsburgh, and now they got our boy C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I can't believe he's not on this team. In the prime of his career, missed a whole bunch of games. Still, it doesn't sit right. I would have rather let Fletcher Cox walk. I thought this was like going to be a foregone conclusion that he was going to be on our team. Like, I thought there was no way he would be on another team. You gave up.
Yeah, the explanation was they offered him 3 years, $24 million, and they backloaded the contract. Here's the problem, and this is what I see is that, I think he may have been worried that
they're just going to cut him.
That they cut him after the second year. That he loses a ton of money, and right? Am I wrong about that?
No, you're not wrong at all.
Yeah, I mean, why? So of course he's going to take 1 year, and he'll take 1 year, and then he'll look to get the long-term deal. And you know what? If he leads the Lions into the playoffs, and the Lions have a very successful playoff run, okay, he's probably going to stay there. Because you know what, the Lions, I don't think they're in cap hell yet, not yet anyway.
No.
Speaking of that division, Rob, have you heard the same rumors I have about Dalvin Cook getting cut?
Getting cut? No, I didn't hear that. I heard he might get traded.
I heard they may cut him.
I don't understand. I guess because they're playing Kirk Cousins a lot of money, and they're going to have to pay Jefferson soon.
Yeah, but until they have to pay Jefferson, you can't wait 1 more year.
Didn't Thielen just go somewhere too?
Thielen just went to Miami, I think.
Miami?
It was either Miami or Carolina. I can't remember now.
I think it was Carolina.
It may have been Carolina. Thielen was kind of chasing it a little bit last year. I think he's a little bit down from his prime. I don't think he's all that great anymore, to be honest.
All right, let's get back to the Sixers. Brian Daly, I want to agree with the poll. I still think the bench needs to be better, and they need to figure out how to beat the Celtics. I'm right with Brian. Not a hard sell. Haven't heard a hard sell yet on why this team is different this year, other than Brad, Mr. New York, with the Philadelphia sales cap on. Don 19, Greg Miller, another Eagles question. What do you guys think about adding Justin Evans from the Saints? He's not C.J. Gardner-Johnson, I'll tell you that. I would highly doubt that Justin Evans is going to lead the whole NFL in interceptions this year. Big loss, C.J. Gardner-Johnson. I can't even sugarcoat it and make it seem like it's going to be okay. You're going to have to draft someone or pull a rabbit out of the hat after June 1st. You have major issues at the safety position. And I don't buy it at all that safety is that much devalued where it's not important. I don't buy that at all.
Well, it may not be important enough to use your first round pick on one, but at least not from the 10 spot with the 10 hole where you're going to be, but in the 30 hole, maybe it would. I mean, that guy Patrick Queen on the Ravens, he was a first round pick. I thought he was
a linebacker though.
I thought he was a safety.
I think he's a linebacker.
Oh, okay.
They use him.
Never mind.
They use him a bunch of ways though. Jake Friel. What's up, boys? I disagree with the poll. They have to show me they can get past the second round before making the finals. Another not a hard sell at all. Nothing being said by Sixers Nation to make me change my mind. By no one other than Brad making a strong case. You did a good job, Brad. You had me thinking about it before I disagreed.
Well, just the way Embiid's playing right now, if he continues at this level, I mean, I don't see how nobody can stop him. I mean, right now he's the best player in the league. He's the most dominant offensive force in the league right now, and he's on your team. And you've also got, and you know what, James Harden, who has always been a great player. Except it always had to be him being the man on the team all the time. He's healthy. The last couple of years, he has not been healthy. I'm sorry, but he is not. That hamstring was bothering him. Last year. It was bothering him in Brooklyn the year before that. He's finally healthy. You don't have to worry about him. I don't think he's worried about re-injuring his hammy anymore. And I think that's good. That's huge. I think that's what's going to make the difference. You know, and Maxey can still shoot the daylights out of the ball. He's not a great defender. I get that, but you know what? He can still shoot, and they're going to be a tough matchup for anybody. Let's be honest. You know, in the last 2 or 3 minutes of the game, they got 3 guys who can score. Okay, any one of those 3 can kill you in the last 2 to 3 minutes of the game. You know, how are you going to stop them? You know, and they've got the and they've also got guys that they can get back into a game quickly because of the shooters they have and because of the offense that they have. They're tough, and now they're finally playing good defense. I think this defensively, I think this is the best Sixer team I've seen in a while. Am I wrong about that, or
probably since they had Jimmy Butler?
Yeah, defensively, I think has been the big difference. You know, and Embiid never seems to get into foul trouble. You know, I mean that's kind of Wiltish. You know, I mean Wilt Chamberlain was a guy that, as great as he was, never fouled out of a basketball game in his entire career.
You're right. Joe is good at that. Sixers down 4 at halftime, 44-40. Fully expect them.
Yeah, well,
whether they make the finals or not to win this basketball game against.
They'll come. Yeah, right. They'll probably have a bad game and make me look like an idiot. So I hope that doesn't happen. But look, they'll turn up the defensive intensity in the middle of the third quarter or at the beginning of the third quarter, and they'll get back into the game and break it open because that's kind of what they do. You know, I mean, they've been one thing about Doc. I know everybody loves to hate him, but he does make halftime adjustments. He's been doing a nice job doing that.
Yeah, he's been a lot better. He's been out of crosshairs. See, now this is what I don't understand is this type of thinking that C.J. Johnson is selfish for trying to get the best deal he can in free agency. I think this is all on the Eagles for not bringing this guy back. And you can play the selfishness and he doesn't want to win, but he was a damn good player last year. He made a lot of big plays for this team, and now you are destitute.
Ryan, he was offered 20. He was offered $24 million. Okay, not 36. He was offered 3 for 24, and he was going to get 8, I think, in the first 2 years, and then 16 in year 3. And that didn't sit well with him because he figured they cut him after year 2. So I mean, come on. Why would he do that?
Of course they were going to cut him after year 2.
I mean, I mean, you know, you think the guy's stupid? I mean, that's why these guys have agents. They know. You know, and he just decided he'd bet on himself. What's wrong with that? You know, I mean, I could talk to
C.J. Gardner-Johnson because he's probably going to have a good season in Detroit. And it's going to be not so good for the Eagles because you have you're destitute of safeties on this football team right now. I mean, if you want to throw out, you know, you can win without great safeties. I mean, okay, I guess we're going to find out. Because both your starting safeties are gone, and all I heard after the Super Bowl was everyone talk shit on Darius Slay and James Bradbury. And they're both back. And by the way, I didn't disagree with talking shit on James Bradbury or Darius Slay after the Super Bowl. The entire defense was atrocious. They didn't get a stop the whole freaking game. So the youngest of our defense from last year isn't here anymore. Over a couple $1 million. All right, Howie. Okay. Better be right. Because Howie can only go down next year. Howie's like the holy grail of Philadelphia right now. Like, he looks like a genius. He got A.J. Brown. He drafted Devontae Smith. He was right about Jalen Hurts. He's got all these offensive linemen and keeping the band together on defense. Guess what? The Super Bowl hangover is a real thing. Absolutely a real thing.
The other thing is, a lot of these guys
can only
are
go
on the
down
wrong
if you're the
side.
Eagles.
A lot of them are on the wrong side of 30, and to me that's a problem.
The more we talk about it, Brad, the more I hate that C.J. Gardner-Johnson isn't going to be on this team anymore.
Well, look, you can always get a safety. You could trade for one if you have to. I don't know what their salary cap situation is right now, and how much room they have left. And I'm just wondering if the whole thing with Jalen Hurts next year is kind of lurking. The shadow lurking of that is Jalen Hurts with the contract he's going to get next year. Maybe that's an issue too, and Howie doesn't want to tie up too much money because he knows he has to pay him next year.
Ryan Swoop also disagrees. 76ers need to first show me they can get past the second round. James Harden needs to be playing the way he is now in the playoffs.
Fair enough.
Don 19, Bobby Wagner. That's a good name, Bobby Wagner. Sure.
Yeah, but he's
sign
old
Bobby
too.
Wagner. He's old too. Yeah, you're only going to get younger through the draft because you let the 25-year-old safety that led the league in interceptions that you traded for last offseason out the door.
Yeah, I was very surprised that you guys let him go.
Well, I mean,
I know you can't keep everybody, and we all everybody can get that. I mean, we lost a pretty good safety in New York, Julian Love. I know everybody hated to lose him. But you can't.
Yeah, where did he go?
Everybody.
Seattle? We went out to Seattle,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, he was very good last year. Very good. You hate to lose him. I mean, they've lost a couple of good safeties the last 2 years. They had to let Peppers go, and then they had to let Julian Love go. So I mean, this is what it is right now, and the Eagles are going to have to. I think that they needed to get I think they need to get one veteran and one kid back there. That would probably be, and the more you think about it, it's not a bad. That wasn't a bad idea before. So maybe they do go that route, or as you said, maybe they consider a June 1st pickup.
There you go. There's a Giants question.
How many of the New York the 2007? It was 6 out of the 6. I think 6 guys played. They had that draft was an incredible draft because they all played well. Yeah, they Boss. I remember him, the tight end. Who was the running back? The little guy. Now I can't remember.
Ahmad Bradshaw.
Ahmad Bradshaw. Yeah,
he was a good player.
Yep, Bradshaw. I think they did they not bring in an offensive lineman that year too? I'm trying to remember. I mean, this was a while ago. I can't remember.
I'm trying to bring it up right now.
I think they all. I think almost all of them played and played well.
And you won the Super Bowl.
Yeah. Yeah, and they played better. Steve Smith. Steve Smith.
But we don't even have an answer on last. Yeah, I remember him. But Brad, we don't even have answers on our draft picks from last year because they all basically redshirted last year. We don't even know if they're good yet.
Well, you're going to find out soon enough.
We are going to find out really
What's
soon.
What's going on with that guy
months.
Samalu? Do you think Samalu? It's going to be it's going to be tough to replace Samalu, or
no? Well, they picked a guard, center/guard in the second round out of Nebraska last year. He's going to start.
Okay.
Really
Samalu
not a good look.
Old.
But didn't he go somewhere? I think he went somewhere.
Did he sign with anybody or?
thought I saw that he got picked. Yeah, Steelers add Semalu. Steelers got him. That's
okay.
That's a good pick for them.
Yes.
It's a good signing. He's a good player.
But Swoopy, you are right. I can't remember the guys, but I think only one didn't make the team, and I think the other 6 all started. So sometimes you get stuff like that, and then after that, Jerry Reese couldn't pick his nose in the draft. But Howie's done a pretty good job the last couple of years. So who am I to say what he should do? I mean, the only thing he did wrong was Jalen Reagor. Everybody else seemed to be perfect for him.
Trying to let me do it on my phone. Now I'm interested.
Trying to remember if Brandon Jacobs came into the league in 2006 or 2007 when he came into the league. And I think Hakeem Nicks maybe, or was that his second year?
All right, here I have it right here. Hakeem Nicks is no. I think
No, Hakeem Nicks was before that.
Hakeem Nicks. Ross, pick money.
Ross, yeah, okay.
Steve Smith, the right wide receiver.
Yep, he's from
pick
USC.
51. Jay Alford, I think. Alford, I believe he went to Penn State. Pick 81. Zach Diossi.
Long snapper, and I think he was a safety too.
He's a linebacker. It says linebacker.
Was a linebacker, okay.
Then you got Kevin Boss.
The tight end.
Ahmad Bradshaw was a 7th rounder. I never heard of the other 2 guys. Adam Coetz and Michael Johnson.
Michael Johnson was a safety.
Yeah, defensive back.
Yeah, he was a safety.
So that's a pretty good draft.
Yeah, and they all played, and they all had pretty good. I think the Adam guy was the only one that didn't pan out, but all those guys played, and they played pretty well.
Yeah, we remember Don. I had people all over my Facebook when I was saying how good Justin Jefferson was going to be. He can only play in the slot. He's not an outside receiver. Okay.
I just remember you were telling me all season that year how you said it right on this air, on these airwaves, how good you thought Justin Jefferson was, and you turned out to be right.
No, because people watch YouTube videos all day long, and they think that they're like, it's not that hard to draft guys. It's really not.
Well, when you have guys that do it for a living, you think some of them would do a better job of doing it.
No, because they want to be the smartest guy in the room, and they want to pick guys like Jalen Reagor over Justin Jefferson. Pick Jerry Jeudy, who I told you was a sweat bag, over guys like CeeDee Lamb and Justin Jefferson.
Yeah, Jerry Jeudy's
Jeudy. There's nothing proprietary about Jerry Jeudy's game.
No,
he's not fast. He doesn't have the greatest hands. He runs okay routes.
He's an
Can't
okay.
Take the top off the defense.
He's an okay receiver. He's a number 3 on a good team. Am I wrong?
Yeah, that's probably
I think he's. I mean, I think Darius Slayton is better than he is. I don't think he's any better than Darius Slayton, to be honest with you. And by the way, the Giants did a nice job getting him back. I thought they did a nice job waiting him out, because they ended up only paying $6 million for him. Darius Slayton.
Wow.
They re-signed
Okay.
him 2 years, $12 million. I thought that was a pretty good deal for a guy like
call
him.
me when you sign Odell. Call me when you sign Odell, or
No.
I guess
Not
Waller's
not
kind
for
of a difference
not for
maker.
20 not for 20 million a year.
What do you
That's
think
not
of
fair.
Darren Waller? Big, nice shiny toy up in New
Oh,
York for
I
Daniel
love it.
Jones.
I just hope he stays healthy. That's all. If he stays healthy, he's really going to help that team. I heard that he was on his honeymoon on a cruise, and he found out right when he got back. As soon as he stepped
Well, I
off the
mean, he
boat,
kind of
was
already knew. I mean, he almost got traded to the Packers at the trade deadline last year. So,
yeah,
I think he kind of knew
that's
McDaniels didn't like him. But, I mean, I don't know who McDaniels likes. Nobody seems to be a McDaniels guy out there in Vegas.
McDaniels. He's always had that issue. He had that issue in Denver too. So I don't know about him. I really don't. And how weird is it that they get rid of they get rid of Carr and bring in
Jimmy
Jenny.
Garoppolo? Well, they
Yeah.
have ties from the New England days.
Jimmy, I'm sorry, Jimmy Garoppolo. And that was a little strange.
Well, Jordan Davis is not Fletcher Cox's replacement. He's Javon Hargrave's replacement. And there's a lot of pressure on Jordan Davis to be a starting caliber defensive tackle this year. I mean, yes, Hamilton. I wanted Hamilton too. I thought that would have been a sexy pick, but Hamilton didn't have that great of a season down there in Baltimore as a rookie. So jury's still out on that one too. And to update the John Morant situation, he is back with the team. He is not playing against the Dallas Mavericks tonight because he's not in game shape. So 22-year-old misses 8 games, and he's got to get back into shape, I guess. The NBA is so trash. It really is so trash. It's such a bad product. These guys sit out. Like, did you see Dame Lillard this year? Tatum got MVP the All-Star game, but Lillard went to the All-Star game, played in the All-Star game, and then sat out for load management the first Portland game back from the All-Star break. That epitomizes the NBA these days. I'm surprised.
I'll tell you what, you don't see hockey players doing that.
No matter how bad the team is. Like, it's a joke. Yeah. It's such a trash product. That's why I like my brackets and my college basketball way better, even though my bracket's garbage.
Well, Rob, everybody's bracket's garbage.
Everybody's bracket's garbage.
Yeah, I mean, come on. I mean, Purdue losing in the first round.
Dude, you went to Fairleigh Dickinson.
Yes, I did. If they won on Sunday, I was going to try to get us hooked up with him.
Yeah.
But
yeah, because who the heck saw that coming?
No, nobody saw that coming.
Didn't we have him before?
No, that's a different coach.
Different coach.
He got fired last year because they won 4 games. I think they were 4-29 last year.
Well, this guy's not going anywhere anytime soon.
No, he's a
you know how I feel about the Big Ten. Wayne Miller. What are your thoughts on Zach Pascal moving on? Like, don't let the door hit him on the ass on the way out. Zach Pascal did nothing for this football team last year.
I wouldn't be worried about him.
Who do I want as my third receiver? Someone who I want a vertical slot. I want a slot receiver that can take the top off the defense and be creative like that. Because you have Devontae Smith, who can be a possession guy over the middle. A.J. Brown, who can be a possession guy over the middle. And one of the best tight ends in the league.
Devontae Smith
take the top off the defense. I'm not saying Devontae Smith and A.J. Brown can't take the top off the defense. We saw that plenty last year. But I need a guy that runs 4.2, 4.3 speed, and that can just burn down the field and actually catch the football, which Quez Watkins can't do. And if the new slot receiver could return punts, that'd be cool too, because I would like to see a punt returner.
You might be able to find one of them.
Yeah, Greg Ward, he can get lost too. Don wants Will Anderson or Jalen Carter on the lines. I'd be careful with Jalen Carter. That
What about this
situation
running back? What about this running back you signed? Penny?
Brashard Penny.
Yeah.
He was on Seattle. He's on Seattle last year.
Yeah.
He averages like 12 yards a carry. It's crazy, but he never plays. He's always hurt.
Yeah, I was going to say he's always hurt. I understand them getting rid of Sanders. I understand that they can't afford to pay him with all the other guys they had to pay. I get that, but I think they could have done a little bit better as far as that's concerned. I think they could have done a little bit better than him at running back. So I'd be a little concerned about him. What would be so terrible about Boston Scott playing? Boston Scott is very
He's on our team.
Yeah, I know. Well, I don't understand why he doesn't get more. I mean, he's probably one of the most underused players I've ever seen be in the league so long.
Well, based on how it is this year,
I think he could score touchdowns against other teams besides the Giants if he had a chance. To be honest with you, I mean, he's a good player. He can catch the ball. He can do almost everything he can do almost anything these other guys can do. Just saying. I mean, it's not like he's got a lot of mileage on him.
Philip Dorsett, no, that doesn't do anything. Philip Dorsett is not good. Who do you think the Panthers should pick C.J. Stroud? No doubt in my mind about that one. I can't pick Bryce Young with the first pick in the draft. He's too small.
Yeah, and it seems like the small quarterbacks. I mean, if Baker Mayfield is the example, that's not a good thing.
Rick Pitino, segue into some college hoops talk.
St. John's.
Back in New York at St. John's, spicing up the Big East a little bit.
Well, the St. John's has not been a very good basketball team in about 40 years. So it's been a long, long time for St. John's.
Yeah, and then Georgetown, they finally fired Patrick Ewing. With all due respect to his playing career, he was an awful basketball coach.
Oh yeah, look, I get
well, anyway,
it.
They got the Providence guy.
He couldn't recruit either. That was what was so shocking. I mean, it's not like who did he recruit? He didn't even recruit anybody good. You would think, damn, if I'm a basketball player, okay, and Patrick Ewing knocks on my door to play for him, man, how do you say no to him? And Georgetown is a really good school too. It's not like it's not like you're going to a crappy college. Georgetown is a highly rated college.
Well, anyway, Georgetown, they poach Ed Cooley out of Providence to be their head coach.
Providence always has a good team too.
Yep, and I'm sure he got a bunch more money than Providence was willing to offer. And Providence in the tournament 7 out of the last 9 years.
That's remarkable.
So he should be first off. Ed Cooley is a great coach, and he's going to get, I would assume, a monster payday from Georgetown. And Georgetown's going to be good again. You get the blue bloods of the Big East.
You would hope so.
Nova won't be down. Nova will be good again next year. St. John's Rick Pitino is going to turn them around.
Yes, he will.
Ed Cooley's going to turn Georgetown around. Marquette's not going anywhere.
It's not fun to watch the Big East if St. John's and Georgetown aren't banging on the door. And Seton Hall wasn't very good this year either. I mean, it just didn't seem like it just didn't seem right that those teams weren't, and Villanova wasn't good this year either. I mean, that was the Big East when it was in its prime. Rolly and Louis playing each other. twice a season. Louis going and playing John Thompson, Rowley and playing John Thompson. I mean, there was some real good matchups, and then you had Calhoun in Connecticut and Boeheim in Syracuse. I mean, they were some fun days when those in the Big East. We need if the Big East is going to get back to where it was before, they need to get some of these coaches in there.
The breaking news: the Bills signed Damian Harris. Cool.
Okay. They need some help, that's for sure.
Aaron McKee didn't step down. Aaron McKee got himself canned at Temple there, Ryan. He just didn't do a good job. Sam Cassell rumored to go to Temple. I didn't hear that, and B, I don't believe that. Sam Cassell, if you agree to our poll question, you think the Sixers are going to go to the NBA Finals, Sam Cassell is going to be a head coach in the NBA very soon.
Oh, Sam Cassell, is he a good coach? He's one of my. I'll tell you what, he was one of my favorite players, Sam Cassell. I know
he's a highly regarded assistant.
Good. I mean, I'll tell you what, he was one heck of a player. The only problem Sam Cassell had was that he always thought he was the best player on the court, which he wasn't. But he was one heck of a player, though.
Let's get back to the Sixers here. Second half underway. Sixers down 4. Embiid at the line. But this would be so Sixers to lose this game. And it would be so Sixers to the game in Chicago, rest everybody, and lose that game too.
They're playing this game at home, right?
This one's at home, so they play.
They'll win. They'll take over in the fourth quarter.
So they're going to play in Chicago on Wednesday.
Okay. Well, I mean, I don't know if they win in Chicago, but they'll win at home. They're not going to lose at home to Chicago.
They need to win all these games because they need to have home court advantage.
Well, at the very least, they have to be in second place.
Trying to look at this box score real quick. Joe has 18. Joe has 18 and 10. He's got to be the MVP. Brad, have you been watching the World Baseball Classic?
Not really, no. It's on past
good.
my bedtime. I know. It's on past my bedtime.
It's on right now. What do you mean?
Oh, what channel?
Japan versus Mexico. Fox Sports 1.
Oh, okay. 219. I know what channel that is. I was watching the Panthers and Red Wings.
Mexico's up 3-0 in the 5th.
Okay, I got it on.
Apparently this pitcher for Japan, Brad, is really good. He wins the Cy Young every year in Japan. And he's going to come over. He's going to be an MLB free agent next year.
Oh, is that Yamamoto?
Yamamoto.
Yeah. I've heard his name.
Well, hopefully, I mean, that's 97 on the black, cutting in. Oh, this guy's a pain in the ass, a Rosarina.
Oh, I like a Rosarina.
Who's on your fantasy team, Brad? We had our fantasy draft last night. Who's on your fantasy baseball team?
I'll tell you what, I've got a hell of a lineup, if you ask me.
Yeah, I saw you got all your Yankees. I saw you got all your Yankees.
Yes, I did. I don't know if I have enough pitching, but I think with Judge, Arenado, Stanton, Hoskins, Brian Reynolds, and Rizzo, I think I'll get a lot of home runs on this team. And my three best pitchers are Cease, Urias, and Javier. So
Well, you got better pitchers. You got better pitchers than me.
I'm happy with my pitching, but I just had to take Judge as my first pick. I couldn't talk myself out
he's
of it.
really good.
Yeah, I know. No, I was debating whether to take him or Cole.
Because I have Jose Ramirez.
Jose Ramirez is good too.
I have Julio Rodriguez, Austin Riley, Jose Ramirez.
You can hit too.
Corey Seager.
It's not easy though when you're picking when you pick 12th. That it's hard because you know what, a lot of guys don't ever reach you. That's the hard part about picking 12 because that's what happened last year for me.
I have Fried and Webb. That's my two best pitchers.
So Webb was good. I had Webb last year. Webb was really good.
He tailed off at the end, but hopefully he does good this year.
Yeah, no, he was pretty. He did a nice job. I'll tell you. You know who did really well last year was what's his name? The Japanese pitcher. I can't remember his name.
Ohtani?
No, not Ohtani.
Yu Darvish.
Yu Darvish, yeah. He got off to April and May weren't very good to him, but then in June he picked it up and started striking a lot of guys out. He ended up being the ace last year for me.
Don 19. I asked earlier, what's the Sixers' biggest weakness? Sixers' biggest weakness has been perimeter defense for the past 5 seasons since they did not re-sign Jimmy Butler. That's why you never beat Boston, is because you can't defend the perimeter. And you when it's a half-court game in the NBA playoffs and possessions are limited and you need to make defensive plays to move on, the Sixers haven't been able to do it. Can they do it this year? I don't know. That's not fair. Doc Rivers has had a good season, Dylan. I mean, Doc Rivers, Sixers' biggest weakness is Doc Rivers, in my opinion. I know it's easy to go to the coach when things don't go right, but
it's not always the coach's fault.
I don't really have much beef with the job Doc Rivers has done over the long haul of a long basketball season. I really don't. He's a good enough coach. I'm pretty confident that if the Sixers don't make it to the Eastern Conference Finals or NBA Finals, it won't be Doc's fault, even though Doc might get fired if that is the case. But I don't agree with Dylan at all. I don't think Doc Rivers is the Sixers' biggest weakness at all. Perimeter defense. It's been perimeter defense every year. But it looks like they've figured out backup center. Paul Reed's been doing fairly well in that role. PJ Tucker is at least defending. He's not doing a lick for you on offense, but he's defending. You'll definitely need him against Milwaukee, and you're going to need him up against Boston too. You know, Tobias is hit or miss. Maxi's been good. So I'm just not sold. No one sold me. No one sold me that the Sixers can make the finals. No one put the hard sell in. Dylan Ushler, just out of history, he struggles to coach when it matters. I mean, the Sixers don't really play when it matters either, so I'm always going to look at players.
It's not always the coach, you know. The players need to make shots too. That's a big part of it too.
No, but you can tell though, because Brett Brown was awful, and everyone stuck up for him until they were blue in the face, saying it's the players got to play.
Well, yeah, I mean because
he doesn't put any players in a position to succeed to their highest ability. Doc does. You know, Doc pulled the plug on that Tyrese Maxey 6-man nonsense real quick when that wasn't working out. That's to his credit.
Well, he tried something, you know.
He tried something, and DeAnthony Melton can't start in this league, so you had to switch it back.
So, yeah, you can't. I mean, listen, that's the regular season is the time to try stuff like that. I mean, it's not like he did it in the playoffs. So in and the NCAAs, Rob, who does
Yes.
Princeton play now?
They're gonna play. They're gonna play Baylor. Or did Creighton win?
Is there any shot for them to? Is there any shot?
Look, yeah, there's a shot. Did you watch
Okay.
it the first
Yeah.
2 days?
Yep.
3 days? First 4 days?
Oh yeah.
It was chaos. Anything can happen in this thing.
Sure can. So Fairleigh gave a pretty good accounting of themselves last night.
Yeah, I was hoping that for them to win.
Yeah, me too. It didn't happen, but you know what?
I think they play Friday. But like, looking at the game, Gonzaga versus UCLA is the best game of the slate. Houston and Miami, that's a good game. Alabama shouldn't have a problem with San Diego State. Texas should win.
So Princeton has to play
20.
Baylor. That doesn't sound very good.
Yeah. I mean, but Princeton, they're scrappy and they defend. Baylor's obviously got the edge in athletes, but I don't know. They've come this far. I don't see why they can't pull off another one. Arkansas and UConn, that should be a pretty good game. UConn looks really good. UConn looks really good.
Did you see the catch Rosarina just made? By the way?
against the fence.
Yeah. And
Looking
he played
like
it like he did, and he played it like he didn't catch it.
Well, you know all about him.
Oh, he's a
Playing for
royal pain
Tampa.
in the ass. That's why I picked him for my fantasy team last year, because he's a big pain in the ass, and he always is. He's a clutch hitter, and he also he's also an unbelievable outfielder, and he has a pretty damn good arm. You know, steals a lot of bases. What more do you want out of life with him?
I'm trying to see what the spreads are to some of these games. So 324. What's that? Friday at 9:00. I'm sorry. What am I saying? Creighton beat Baylor.
Thursday. Huh?
Yeah, Creighton beat Baylor. I don't know what I'm talking about. I brain fart. So it's Princeton versus Creighton. Not Baylor.
Okay.
Sorry.
Creighton is a big team, right? They're big.
Yeah, they can definitely beat Creighton. I don't think Creighton's that great.
Yeah, they're just
I don't
big.
think Creighton's that great at all. Dylan Ushler, yeah, this is you had a 16 seed win, you had a 15 seed win. You just have chaos all over the place. It's awesome.
Yeah, everybody's brackets are screwed up now.
Let me see what some of these lines are here.
Sandoval, is that the guy that pitches for the Angels?
Yes.
Okay.
He's not bad. Mexico's got a pretty good little team.
Yes, they
Michigan
do.
State, Kansas State. Michigan State, Kansas State. I don't care about that game. I will not. Florida Atlantic, Tennessee. 5-point line. That seems aggressive. I would like Florida Atlantic in that one. Miami and Houston, that's way too many. I'll definitely take 7 points with Houston.
Houston is getting
Xavier,
7?
Texas will win that one. No, it's Vincent. The 1 seed.
Okay. Oh, okay. Yeah, I was going to say.
So Princeton's getting 10 on Friday night at 9:00.
I think they'll cover.
10.
Yeah.
I bet
That's
you
a lot.
they show up.
Yep. I think they'll
I
keep.
bet you they show up big time.
So, did you get to see any of the Fairleigh Dickinson game
Get back to the Sixers.
against Purdue?
Which one?
The Fairleigh Dickinson Purdue game. Did you get to see that game at all?
Yes.
Okay. Did Purdue look scared to death to you? Good. They look scared to death.
Sorry.
To me.
Purdue? Yeah, this is what they always do.
I don't understand why they just didn't do alley-oops to that center. Fairleigh could not have guarded him with their lives.
It was like almost too easy that because Fairleigh Dickinson was the shortest team in the tournament and Purdue was the tallest team in the tournament.
Right, and
so all they had to do was
play above the rim.
I don't know. This is where I think people just make it harder than it has to be.
Yeah, and that center of theirs, every time he went to shoot, he would bring the ball down before he brought it back up again. I don't understand. Don't these guys learn when they catch the ball to keep it? The big guys keep the ball over their head so they can shoot and not bring it down. So when they bring it down, the little guys can steal it from them. And I mean, that guy Eden, he looked like he was getting the ball stolen from him almost every time he got it.
Virginia game was wild. Dude literally just threw the ball away. Yeah, that was. Did you see that one, Brad?
Yes.
Virginia versus Furman, all-time faux pas.
Virginia seems to do this. Virginia seems to do this every season, don't they?
All the time. So does Purdue.
Yeah.
Some teams in sports just get it done, and some teams just don't.
Yeah.
Joe is rumbling. Sixers down 2, end of the third quarter.
Here they come now. Knicks getting wiped out by the Knicks getting wiped out by the Timberwolves tonight. I think it was last time I looked, they were down 13. Oh, now they cut it down to 9. Wow. You talk about no defense at halftime, 79-70. Timberwolves over the Knicks. Is there no defense being played in the NBA?
No, like I said, the NBA is it's garbage basketball. It's all load management, prima donna nonsense. And we'll see if the Sixers can get it done. I still don't. Nobody hard sold me on the Sixers throughout the whole show.
Except me.
Except you. And you didn't do good enough.
And
no one else.
And I'm not even
everyone's in kind of like a wait and see holding pattern with this team. Nobody wants to buy in. I'm not the only one. I thought a few people would be in the chat, hooting and hollering about how they're gonna win the East and the finals and be champions, and we'll have a parade to go to.
Seems like
everyone's kind of like me.
Yeah, everybody seems to be like on guard, very cautiously optimistic.
All right, Brad, do you have anything hockey related you would like to discuss before we get out of here?
The New York Rangers right now are playing unbelievable hockey. I don't know if you noticed this weekend, they knocked off Pittsburgh 6-0. And then last night they came out and put 6 on the board against the lowly Nashville Predators and beat them 7-0. I mean, right now they're at the top of their game. I have a feeling that it's going to be them and Boston in the conference finals.
Boston's lost like 10 games the whole year.
I think it's a little bit more than that. I think it's maybe 12. Boston has been brilliant this year. However, and the Rangers were 0-3 against them. However, it appears that both Kane and Tarasenko they have finally adjusted. The Rangers figured out where to put them, and since they got Kane and Panarin not playing together, and they have Tarasenko playing with Panarin, it seems like they both have taken off. And right now, the Rangers offensively are a very, very dangerous team. And I honestly think, and I know I'm probably a little biased because I'm a Ranger fan, but I think that they have a golden opportunity this year to win the Cup. I think that they've got enough talent. They're scrappy, even though they don't have any guys that can really, drop them and beat the crap out of somebody anymore. They're scrappy enough to hang in there with Boston.
Are they better than the Devils? Devils
I
are
don't
pretty
think the
good
Devils,
this season.
yes, they are, but I don't think the Devils are going to beat them in the playoffs because I do think the playoff experience is very important in hockey. And the Rangers went out, not only, the thing with Kane and Tarasenko, both of them have won Stanley Cups. Okay, and we're not talking about winning a couple of playoff series. They have hoisted the cup before, and I think that matters. I really do. I mean, I know that the Devils went and got Killorn for that very reason, because he's hoisted one. He's hoisted a couple of them. So, but I just think the Rangers have a little bit more experience, and Igor Shesterkin is looking more and more like the Vezina Trophy winner from last year in the last couple of weeks than he has all season. It looks like he's regained his form, and if he plays the way he did last season in the playoffs, and the Rangers can continue to be just unbelievable offensively, why can't they win?
No, I mean,
why not? Why not?
NHL playoffs is kind of like March Madness on ice. I mean, anything can happen. You punch your ticket in the dance, and you can get in. You can do things. If your goalie gets hot, or you start scoring goals, you get the right matchup, you catch momentum. All kinds of things can happen in hockey.
Yeah,
What do you think about the West?
I think Colorado is going to get back there now. Colorado's got almost everybody back. I know they lost Rantanen. No, was it Rantanen? No, they lost somebody. One of their starters that's very good, but they still have most of the guys are back healthy again, and they're hitting on all cylinders. And to be honest with you, I'm not sold on Dallas. I know, we had talked on Hockey Happy Hour, and we will be talking about this tomorrow about the West. I'm not so sold on Dallas. I think Edmonton's going to be very dangerous in that division, but I do think Colorado, offensively, with all their guys out there, they're going to be very tough to beat, and they're finally starting to win a lot of games now. So, and by the way, I don't think it's too late to say this, but I think the Penguins are in big trouble. I think the Penguins may not even make it now.
We say that all the time, and they
are.
But
this time they're missing 3 defensemen.
They are hanging on.
They're hanging on.
You think Florida's going to get in?
Yeah, Florida is red hot, and Pittsburgh has to go out and play the Avalanche this week in Colorado. Good luck with that. And it's I think they have to play Dallas as well. Pittsburgh is in trouble right now. They're in big trouble, and Florida is just rolling right now. I just don't see how, and I think Pittsburgh also has played more games. I don't see how they're going to be able to hold off Florida right now.
Same amount of games played.
Okay.
Pittsburgh has 1 more point.
Okay, I think Florida the last time I looked was ahead of Detroit 3-1, and I think Pittsburgh was losing to Ottawa 1-0 after 2, if I'm not mistaken.
Correct.
So
both still factual.
I was right about Washington though, most definitely, because they're pretty much done.
I'm trying to bring out my fantasy hockey team here. Nah, nothing going on. Well, I got your Rangers. It's the first week of playoffs. I have Panarin. I have McKinnon. We'll see.
That's McKinnon is back, and that's one of the reasons that Colorado is back. They've got almost everybody back now. They even have McCarr back. McCarr has been hurt a lot this year, but he's back now. That team is going to be awfully tough to beat in the West.
Don 19. Robbie, you a fan of Kevin Bird? Fired from the how are you going to pay him? You couldn't even pay CJ Gardner-Johnson $8 million for 1 year. You ink up Slay, you ink up Bradbury, you ink up Fletch, you link up BG, you ink up Kelsey. Like, he's a good player. If he doesn't make money right now, he's about to make money. So yeah, I would love him, but if you're going to bring that guy in, just bring back CJ Gardner-Johnson.
Or draft a safety. They probably would do themselves justice by getting by drafting a safety with pick 30, right? Wouldn't that work for them, you think?
I don't know what their plan is at safety.
Yeah, you know what? You get yourself in more trouble drafting when you start drafting by position instead of drafting the best player available. That's when you get yourself in trouble in the NFL.
You get burnt.
Yeah.
Frank Marquette winning it. Marquette. Well, Michigan State took him out. Dylan Ushler, my Flames are battling for a playoff spot. Don't think they're going to make it. Team is too young. Jets just have to be garbage, and the Flames have to sneak in.
Well, the Jets have pretty much been garbage for the last. Yeah, I think the Flames have a shot. I do because you know what, the Jets have been absolute garbage for the last 2-3 weeks now. So the Flames. The problem with the Flames is they'll get a couple of big wins and then they have unexplainable losses, and that's been going on with them all year. So the Flames have to just be consistent, and they'll have a shot. I think that we can all say now that Nashville has no shot. I know that they had made a run and they gotten to within 5 of the playoffs, but after seeing them last night just get murdered by the Rangers, I don't see that team being. I don't see that team. If that team makes the playoffs, then there's really something wrong in the West. There's something very dreadfully and seriously wrong. Jalen Mills. How are you going to afford Jalen Mills, though? Or
Jalen Mills just got cut from New England. So, I mean, that's – but no, that doesn't really excite me.
Isn't he the guy with the green hair?
Yeah, I don't know what they can afford, to be honest with you. Because I'm not a cap guy. I'm really kind of a guy who, especially these days.
You could do better than him, though.
Like, just text me with who's on the team. Text me who they draft. Text me who they sign. Text me who they lose. And then I'll form an opinion, and I'll see you in training camp. I don't like that CJ is out the door, though. I will say that. I will absolutely say that. But Howie has a good track record, at least recently. So we'll see what he can. We'll see what he can muster up. Let me see if I can get their capital. So the Eagles, according to Sports Track, are – let's see if I can figure this out here. Looks like they have $3 million cap space.
Ooh. Is there anyone that they could restructure at this point?
don't know. Maybe Lane Johnson. They seem to do that every year. I mean, all right. Sixers charging. We'll get out of here. Let you guys watch the end of the Sixers. He's Brad Ryer. I'm Rob Brinkman. Till next Monday, everybody. Peace out.